Let's see if this is gonna work because last time I tried this, it didn't work. Come into the room, the dream builder room. Come into the room. Let's see if this is actually working. Let's see. I wanted to chat with you guys today, just briefly, because I feel like I haven't spoken to you in a minute. And yeah, one, I wanted to see actually going live from my computer versus from my phone, which is always dying. Yes, it's working, I think. Yes! Come into the room. Can you hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Somebody asked me a question the other day about how to get paid to speak, and I thought I was going to start to show you some of the beginning steps. So you can hear me. Yes, Lord. Gina, I see you say hello. Good. You can hear me? Perfect. All right. I know this is a little like impromptu, but honestly, I didn't think this was going to work. I usually go live from my phone, and this is the first time I'm going live directly from my computer. So good. Oh, you guys can hear me. Perfect. All right. So come into the room. I'm going to tell you a little story about a little black girl named Tiffany and how she got paid to speak, and how, if you want to get paid to speak, here are some steps that you can start to do so as well. I'm like really excited because I'm like, it's working on my computer. You have no idea. Like, my phone is always the worst when it's time to go live. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the comments. So a number of you dream builders have asked me, how do you get paid to speak? So I teach best in story form. So for me, I used to be a school teacher. So every day I stood up in front of a classroom and I taught kids. I spoke in front of kids. And then when I was trying to make the transition into getting people to pay me to speak, it was not easy. So one of the ways that I made the transition was I volunteered a lot, because speaking really is about practice. It's about getting paid to speak. It's about practice, and it's about relationships. Practice and relationships. Hey, Ty. So when I first started, thankfully, I had a lot of practice because I had been speaking in front of my classroom when I was a teacher for years. So I had that practice, but still, speaking in front of 3 and 4-year-olds was quite different than speaking in front of like Essence Fest, right? And so there was a moment from when I stopped teaching preschool to when I started teaching adults and speaking in front of adults. It's about a year of I did everything I could do for free. I mean, when I tell you, I probably spoke at something at least once or twice a week, whether it was a church, family reunion, somebody's basement. I was speaking all the time, and I was really getting a lot of practice in. But what I didn't know was not only was I speaking, or not only was I practicing, I was also building relationships. Because when you speak for free in the beginning, you have the opportunity to speak sometimes for organizations that you might not otherwise get a chance to speak for. So I spoke with the United Way, Boys and Girls Club, different like nonprofits especially, and I was building these relationships, especially in my hometown. So I live in Newark. And so that, like I said, one, it was practice of speaking, every single week I was somewhere. Two, I was building relationships in the city that I lived in. I didn't even realize that. But after a while, everywhere I went, someone would be like, oh, hey, but Janisa, you were at my church last week. Hey, but Janisa, you were at my nonprofits XYZ event. Hey, but Janisa, you were here. And I thought, wow, this is great. And then I learned to start selling myself from not only the stage, but I learned to start selling myself from the stage and via social media. So in the beginning, it was just practice, right? But it wasn't just practice for nothing. It wasn't like, even though I was speaking for free, I would practice, like I said, I spoke at a church. Then I would have either someone come with me, my sister, or someone in the audience take pictures of me speaking, or I would take pictures of views from the stage, like an Ellen selfie picture, and you see people behind me. And then what would happen is, oh, we're back. Good. So I would, is the connection all right? Because it just told me my connection was weak. So I would take pictures and I would share them on social media of me speaking. And then I would be very clear in the description what was happening. I would say something like, like speaking at Greater Bethel Baptist Church today, teaching the congregation my top 10 tips for saving. If you would like, this is the important part. So one, describing exactly what you're doing, for who, what you're teaching. And then I would always end with, if you would like for me to speak at your church, contact me here. And the here was this link, so you can go and get it. It's called WUFOO. Let me see if I can write it down, because I'm like WUFOO. WUFOO. I think, is that how you spell WUFOO? I think so. Can you see that? Of course you can. WUFOO. 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 So WUFOO is a free contact me form that, as long as you stay under, like, I don't know, maybe like 3 forms. So you go to WUFOO, you create a form, and then they'll give you a link. So when someone clicks on the link, a form pops up and it says, contact me here, put your name and your email and what you want to say. And what I like about WUFOO, because if I said, hey, just finished speaking at Bethel Baptist, so it's WUFOO.com, just finished speaking at Bethel Baptist. If you want me to speak at your church, email me at Tiffany@thebudgetnista.com. If I say that, that requires you to do extra work, because now you got to go into your email, type it in, and then, stop whatever it is you're doing, type it, and remember my email, type it in, write me an email. No, but with WUFOO, literally it's a clickable link. So you click on it, and what's so great about it is that you click on it, and now all of a sudden the contact form pops up. So now I could be like on my phone sitting like, oh, I want Tiffany to speak in my church. Click the link, put my name, put my email. Tiffany, can you speak in my church on Thursday, right? I would never say I was speaking for free. I would just say, like I said, the description of the post or the video or whatever proof I was using to show folks that I was speaking. For those of you who are just coming in, I'm talking about how you can start to get paid as a speaker. So first things first, I know a lot of people say don't speak for free. I disagree. Volunteering, because one, you have to hone your skills. In the beginning, I was terrible. I mean, I was good to speaking in front of like students and kids and stuff. But it was because I was a teacher for so many years, so I wasn't that great. So one, I had to hone my skills. So speaking for free allows you to hone your skills in a safe environment because someone's not spending money on you. So if you're not that great, they're like, well, you get what you pay for. So that's one. And then when you volunteer, you build relationships. So you get to meet, oftentimes when you're volunteering, you get to meet decision makers, right? Oh, this is Tiffany, our volunteer president, such and such. She's so nice. She came and decided she's going to speak to the staff or the kids or whatever it is. Make those contacts, So like create those relationships of people who are seeing you in this great light of like, and then you kill it, So that way you can come back to them later and they might become a paid client. And so two, just because you don't get paid doesn't mean you don't get compensated. So here's how you get compensated. Even if someone's not paying you, you can compensate it by taking a ton of pictures while you're speaking, have someone in the audience take pictures of you while you're speaking, or at the very least get an audience shot, or you in front of the audience like, oh, speaking, with the audience behind you and the picture of your face in front of it, right? At least one good money shot, and then you're going to post it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is that you use, preferably at least 2 or 3 of them, sharing where you are, what specifically you're speaking about, and how someone can contact you. I told you to use that WUFOO form, and then what happens, this is what I would find. I would post a picture of me speaking at a church saying, hey, had such a great time speaking at this church. Want me to speak at your church? Here's my link. And I would use that free WUFOO form. Within a few days, if not a few hours, somebody will have clicked that form and asked me to speak at their church. Because people like to jump on a moving train. They like to get on a winning team. What does that mean? That means if you're speaking at Bethel Baptist, you can speak at Greater Zion. If you're speaking at Rutgers University, you can speak at Duke. You see what I mean? So you're showing people, you're literally teaching people what you bring to the world. So when I post, like people, like right now, right? So I might post, I got an award like 2 days ago, right? So actually it's right here. Let me not drop it. I got this really beautiful award from the Urban League of Union County, right? So I got this award and I posted, just won this award. And you know what? You know how many award requests I get after I post an award? Numerous. Oh, we'd like to give you an award. Why? Because when I post it, it reminds someone as they say, you know what? We should give Tiffany an award. Every time I post something, it makes you people think of you in that particular light. So being very mindful of using your, not just your business stuff, but your personal stuff to show people what you want them to hire you for. So me, I know I want to speak. I know I want to be on TV more. So I'm always posting things, showing I'm already doing those things. If you want to get paid to speak, you have to show you're already speaking, even if it's free. So volunteering, building relationships while you're there so you can reach out to those same people. And then two, and using social media to show people that you're speaking, and then encouraging them to say, if you want me to do this for you, contact me here. And instead of using your email address, go get that WUFOO form I talked about, WUFOO, WUFOO.com. Go get that. It's free. I think like you can make 3 contact forms for free. And that's the link that you use. So that way you post it and you put it in your description of your post, because people inherently are not lazy, but it's too much work for me to have to email you. If I can just click a contact me form link and it pops up. And the great thing about WUFOO is when somebody fills it out, it goes directly to my email. So I can email them back directly from my email, but it makes it easier for them to contact me. Always wanting to make it easier for that person to contact you, right? All right, so now you're speaking, everybody's getting you speak for free. So I was free for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And then I wanted to make the transition into getting paid, right? So that was a little bit harder because a lot of people are used to me speaking for free. But like I said, when I posted, like I was speaking at, American Express or whatever it was, I didn't say it was free, and so when I posted on social media, I never said I'm speaking for free. So the assumption is, oh, she's speaking at American Express or whatever, she must be getting paid. And I wasn't always. But when people hit that contact me box, I would say something like, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I would love to speak at your event. Here's a link to my rates and services. So on my website, so either you have it on your website or you have it typed up someplace nice and neat, your rates and services for speaking. So right away, people know you mean business. I literally have, like on my website, a little tab that says rates and services. Here's a link to my rates and services. If you'd like to schedule a call, please let me know. So now people know I mean business. So free, building connections, showing via social media, you're already a speaker. People reach out to you, you respond back to them. Thank you so much. Here are my rates and services. Some people don't write back. Some people say, oh, I really don't have the money or whatever, And some people say, okay, great. You would love to get on a call with you. If someone wants to get on a call after seeing your rates and services, you're like, yes, you just got to close the deal now. Seal the deal, right? So these are just some beginning steps to begin speaking. And don't be afraid to take a little bit. People will tell you like, oh, beginner speakers make $1,000. That sounds cute, but I did not make $1,000 in the beginning. I was getting paid like $100, $150, $200 to speak. Don't be afraid to take that. I know people will tell you like you shouldn't. Don't be afraid to take that. You want to know why? Because in the beginning, you're still practicing. You're still honing your skills. If someone pays you $5,000, $10,000 to speak and you're not good, they're not going to be happy. So you want to be good. I practice speaking in the shower. I practice speaking in the morning when I go for my walk, when I'm at the gym. You want to really hone your skill set so that way you can be paid that amount of money. If you guys have any questions, it's hard for me to see the questions for some reason. It doesn't want to show me. Let me see if I can see it on our other Facebook page. So here I'm talking about speaking and getting paid to speak. So let's see. People like to get on the moving train. I'm just looking at some of your comments. I do a number of speaking gigs for my job. Can I still do this? Yes, Adasia, you can definitely still do this as long as your job, it's not against your job's policy. So you don't want to do anything, obviously, that's going to put you in harm's way. Have somewhere where your rates and services can be seen, yes. So if you're just joining me now, I'm talking about ways to get paid to speak. And don't make sure you ask your questions in the comment. I'm looking through them. They're a little faded on my end, but I can still see them. So yes, volunteer, building relationships, showing yourself speaking on social media consistently. Because I can't tell you how many friends of mine were like, I didn't know you spoke. I just saw you were at that event and I saw you posted that you spoke. Girl, my job is looking for someone. 99% of my speaking engagements is because someone has seen me say that I'm a speaker online or a picture of me speaking online and they've reached out to me. 99%, right? And so I can honestly say I've never reached out to say, hey, tap, 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 I'd like to speak at your event. But now I'm slowly moving into that genre. But in the beginning, it was really people reaching out to me because they had seen me show via my social media posts that I speak. So the other day, a friend of mine, Jason, and Sandy, you see you're watching, Jason Vitug was telling me that so the most I've ever gotten paid to speak, uh, the most I ever got paid to speak was $12,000 for about, I want to say 45 minutes, $12,000. And honestly, to me, I'm still underpricing myself. So I'm still learning too. So I was talking to a friend of mine, Jason Vitug, and he was telling me how there are large conferences that pay, I think he's going to get paid, I don't know, $35,000 for an hour and a half keynote. I was like, wait, what? So that's the next step. Child! He was like, they pay anywhere from $25,000 to $60,000. And you don't have to be famous. So that's really the next step for me. The next step is to not just wait for speaking opportunities to come to me, but the next step is for me now, I'm going to start looking for larger conferences that are in alignment with my mission and my brand and apply to speak, because these larger conferences make a lot of money. And because they make a lot of money, they pay their speakers very well. So that's the next step. So as I learn that, I'll share that. But I don't want to, speak on something that I have not done yet. But I'll tell you what has actually worked for me. And I would say on average, I get paid to speak on average probably like $600 to $7,500. Because sometimes, like I said, I've gotten paid to speak 12,000, 11,000, 10, but I've also got paid to speak 1,500, 2,000, 2,500. But I would say on average, I'm in the 5,000 to 7,500 range to speak. So for me to speak less than $3,000, it would have to be something, and honestly, I will rarely do even three. It would have to be like a personal relationship, or, because although I enjoy speaking, I speak like around the country. And so for me to get on the plane and speak, it has to be worth it. There has to be something special. And I'm not saying I still don't speak for free. I sure do. So if there is a brand that I want to be associated with, so let's just say Oprah says, hey girl, so I want you on Super Soul Sunday, but we don't pay. Girl, what do you need me to do, Oprah? I will be there with bells on. Heck yeah. So I would still speak for free if the compensation, so think about it this way. You can speak for free as far as money wise, but there should always be compensation. Is there something about the speaking engagement that you're going to gain something? Whether it's, are you going to gain a relationship? That's really important. Are you going to gain alignment? I remember one time when I first started speaking, American Express invited me to speak. They weren't paying, but I was like, can I say that you're a client? And so they said yes. So I posted like when I was walking up to American Express, a picture of me in front of American Express, speaking at my client, American Express today. That led to like 5 different speaking opportunities as a result that were paid. So because people are like, American Express, she must be big time. Meanwhile, American Express was like, girl, we ain't got no money for you. Now, they have money, but I was a new speaker. So I took it, but it gained me a relationship with American Express, 1, because then years later, they had me on and they did pay me. And then 2, what it did was it made my value and as stock as a speaker be bumped up because they were willing to pay me. So yeah, does anybody have any questions? I'm trying to like read. Any questions? What should your starting price be? Trielle, so this is what I say. If someone reaches out to you to speak, try to let them show their hand first. So if someone says, hey, Tiffany, am I freezing? Oh, no, good. Hey, Tiffany, I'd love for you to speak at my event, blah, 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 blah. I usually say, well, okay, do you have a budget? What's your budget for speakers? Because for a beginner speaker, honestly, it's up to you. I had a hard time with that too. I'm not going to lie. I think I was like my first speaking engagement, I got paid $150 for like half an hour. Some people were like, I'm not taking that. But for me, I was like, shoot, I had no money. So, and it was a great beginning of a great relationship. So I say that for a beginner speaker, it's probably going to be anywhere from like $150 to $1,000, depending on the organization and the relationship you have with that person, So it's usually between that. Yeah, it's hard to say. Let's see. Just said, hey. So if you guys have any questions to ask me about speaking, ask away. I just was sharing, for those of you who just joined me, sharing ways to get paid as a speaker, how you can start And it really just starts with speaking and practicing and practicing and practicing. Like, if you think you want to speak, you need to be practicing all the time. I'm always practicing. Even me going live is me practicing, because you have to be able to deliver. I've only bombed one time, because typically when I speak, I grade myself. So this is what I do too. Here's just a little tip before we close out. I speak, and as soon as I get off the stage, I mentally grade myself. I used to write it down, but now I've gotten like a good handle on it, where I used to, like, as soon as I got a free moment, I would write down, what worked, what didn't work, what stories did well, what stories didn't do well. And I would grade myself and say, you know what, they really love the bike story about how you got started as a budgetnista, but not so much this story about how you lost your job, whatever that was. And that would grade myself like that was a B, that was a C, Tiffany, that was an A plus, Tiffany, and like what made it that, so that way I could do better for the next time. So mentally grading yourself is very helpful too, so you're always doing better. I bombed one time, and knowing your audience, like, I don't speak to teenagers anymore, because one time I spoke, well, I have a financial literacy game that I play with teenagers, but I will never sit and stand up and speak to teenagers for an hour, because that's the one time I bombed. I mean, child, they were on their phones like nobody cares about what this lady's talking about. It was embarrassing and it was hard, and that's not my audience. They did not care. And so, yeah, now I know. I mean, I just got offered, like, I don't know, $3,000 to speak to like a high school, like a room full of teenagers. I was like, you could keep it, girl, because they're not gonna shame me. I just know that's just not my audience. Okay, I was just given an opportunity, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Tria. So if you're not sure how much to charge them, let them share what is their budget. I asked it, like, somebody asked me the other day what my budget was, and I basically refused to say. I was like, you tell me, you know what you want to pay. Because the thing is, they're trying to get you to say, oh, 1,000, and they had 3 in the pocket. No, let them tell you what their budget is. So that way you can work from there, because you could push them up. I just had an organization offer to pay me $6,000 to speak. And I'm like, I feel like I told them I wanted $9,500. Like, they gave me theirs. And I told them $9,500. So maybe we might meet in the middle, maybe $7,500. We'll see. And we might not. Sometimes, people walk away, I walk away. But the opportunity to speak for them, there's some other opportunities that I want to take advantage of, that if I speak with them, like the audience, there's something special about their audience. I can't share, obviously, because I don't want them to be like, oh, she over here talking about us. But there's something about their audience that I really want to connect with. It would lead to way more business. So I might be willing to take less, because the audience would lead to more business. Let me see. How do you determine what to speak about? So listen, typically, when I'm speaking, the organization usually has an idea. So I'm personal finance, so I'm the budgetnista. I'm going to talk about money in some way, shape, or form. Or sometimes people will have me talk about being a woman entrepreneur. So typically the organization is going to ask you, hey, Tiffany, can you come speak to our senior citizens and talk about debt? Or can you come speak to, or sometimes they'll just say, hey, Tiffany, we want you to talk about money with our college students. Now, I've spoken to enough college students to know what their pain points are: credit, student loans. So I will sometimes make a suggestion based upon what I know about the audience. That's why that volunteering is so critical, because I volunteered so much. I spoke to every range. I spoke to preschoolers, middle schoolers, high schoolers, senior citizens, middle age, 30s, millennials. I spoke to so many groups so many times. I got to be very clear about what their pain points were. So by the time I started charging, I was clear on, when someone came to me and they were like, we're not sure what the specific topic would be. I'm like, well, this is what I've seen that this group likes to hear about. And so that's what typically, I have my general topic, which is either money or entrepreneurship, typically money. And then I use my, what I know about the audience through my volunteering from when I first started speaking, that what they want to hear about. All right. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I feel this is an area of strength and your pointers are helpful. Okay, you're welcome. Triel. Okay, I will ask about their budget. Now, I missed what you said, Triel. Now, should they pay for flight? Heck yeah, girl. So this is what I asked for. At minimum, if someone is asking me to speak, because this happened before, when I first was starting, a woman wanted me to speak in like Atlanta. I live in New Jersey. And she didn't have any money. And I said, okay, but at the time I kind of wanted to still speak to her audience. It was a fairly large audience, at least that's what it seemed like anyway, but it was her first conference. And she was like, she put my name on the flyer and everything. I said, ho, we didn't talk about terms. And she's like, well, I don't really have much money to pay you. And I said, okay. And I said, well, what about flight and accommodations? And she said, we don't have money for that. So here's what I'm not finna do. I'm not going to pay to make your event, especially an event that you're charging for. There's no way. I'm not paying for my own flight and accommodations to come to your house. And we're not friends. Am I visiting you? Are you my auntie? Are you my mama? No. So yes, if someone is asking you to speak in another state that's far, it's one thing. I live in Newark, New Jersey, which is right outside New York. So like sometimes, like, you know, sometimes I might ask for like the cost of an Uber. Sometimes not. Sometimes I might take the train, which is $10. I'm not going to be like, well, you need to pay me the $10 to get on this train. Typically, I'll just fold that into the cost of me speaking. But if you want me to come to, you know, Alabama, you're paying for flight and accommodation. That's part of getting a speaker. Like, even if you don't have money for me to speak and I really want you to, or you really want me to speak to your audience and I'm willing, even if you don't pay me to speak, you're paying for my flight or accommodations, or I'm going to sit, my brown chocolate is right here in Newark. Yes, that's at the very least. You're welcome, Lisette. What do you submit when they ask for a speaker's kit, especially if you haven't spoken on a large scale before? So for me, I don't submit a speaker's kit. I submit a information kit that has like all of my stats and my numbers and my this and my that. You know, no one's ever asked me for a speaker's kit. So I'm assuming when I'm reaching out to speak to the larger conferences, which I'll be doing soon, they might ask for that. So I'll have to put one together. But typically, honestly, I have never been asked for a speaker's kit. People just, like I said, people have seen me speak online, or they've seen my social media posts of me speaking. That's how I get booked, because they're like, I saw she spoke at Prudential. American Express is like, I know Prudential vetted her. We don't have to ask no questions. Or someone in the audience at the Prudential, you know, speaking event is from American Express. She saw me, so I get to bypass. That's why using social media is going to be so helpful, because I have never been asked for a speaker's kit. I get to bypass that because of me using social media to show and prove my speaking skills. So yeah, that typically has never happened. Me having to show, like, I've never had to show a speaker's kit. Sometimes I just have to show like a media kit every once in a while. That was in the very beginning, but now I have not been asked that. Let's see. Girl, they better, right? Tiff, do you have an example of a speaking kit? Yeah, Tria, I don't. But I do have an example of like a media and an information kit. I could definitely share that though. I'll upload it. Camille, that's true. I speak to my nieces and my daughters about what you're teaching me. I get the okay for about 10 minutes. Yeah, girl, these teens, they don't care. All right. So I just wanted to give you, like, because I promised I was going to give you some beginning steps to how to get paid as a speaker. Now that I know I could speak from my computer and it actually works, I'll be doing this more. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any other questions, you can ask them, continue to ask in the comments, and I'll reply there. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else's comments. Did anybody else have any other questions before I clock out? Please share the information kit. Yep, I'm going to upload it now using social media. Yep. So just a quick wrap up. If you want to start becoming a speaker, I suggest volunteering first, starting your hometown, because it's easier, right? Because like, I live in Newark. It's, you know, it's not New York. It's not, you know, LA. But from Newark, because I locked my hometown down, your reputation radiates out. Excuse me, I remember a friend of mine met Jay-Z in a parking lot, and he asked Jay-Z, how do I become like you? How do I become this world famous rapper? And Jay-Z said, have you locked your hometown down? And my friend was like, I don't understand. I live in like wherever, Timbuktu, you know? And he was like, if you can't get your hometown talking about you, how are you going to get the larger audience to talk about you? And I thought that was so powerful. And then I remember, and I'll leave you with this. This is so critical. I remember when I first started speaking, I told myself my main goal was, I want, when someone in Newark, New Jersey is looking for a financial speaker, when someone says, you know what, we need somebody to talk about money at this event, they don't have to choose me, but my job is that my name had better be mentioned in that room. That means I have to show on social media. I have to be at every, you know, speaking everywhere I could, like I said, for free, as many times as I could. That way, someone in that room should be like, what about Tiffany the Budgetnista? And that was my goal. So I remember for like 2 years, I went so hard, because what happens is when people start buzzing about you in your hometown, that radiates out, because people in Newark have cousins in LA. Cousin, I just saw Tiffany speak. She was amazing. Remember you told me that your organization was looking for somebody? You need to get Tiffany. I just got booked to speak at the largest women's conference in the nation. It's the Massachusetts Women's Conference or something like that. The keynote is Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep, right? One of the most decorated Oscar award-winning actors of all time. Meryl Streep is the keynote. They have literally a handful of speakers, of solo speakers, just a handful. And they reached out to me to speak. And I'm like, wait, you sure you got the right Tiffany? I actually asked the lady, how did you find me? She said that she was a board member of the Pennsylvania Women's Conference. Like they were putting that together. And she mentioned in that conference, we're looking for a financial speaker for our conference. Anybody have any suggestions? Somebody, probably a dream catcher, mentioned me. She went online and found like my stuff online, my website, my social media, showing me already speaking. And then they reached out to me. That's incredible. 40 to 50,000 women attend this conference. And in they're going to have about at least 1,000 women are expected to attend my personal session. And I get to sell my books as well. Do you see what I mean about like, so you don't have to, like, people always think that you got to start out here. Like, I got to be in New York. No, you don't. Radiate from where you are. If you're not killing your hometown, if everybody in your hometown doesn't know what you do, doesn't think of you when they're thinking about your specific topic or service that you provide, start there first. They will tell others. Believe me, I didn't go to New York or LA or Atlanta, whatever. No, the people from Newark took me there. They told their cousins, aunts, sisters, brothers, whatever, and now I speak all over the country, you know, and get paid very well to do so. So just know that volunteering, building relationships when you volunteer, using social media to show that you speak, making it easy for people to contact you. Use that WooFoo link I told you about. It's free. Create WUFOO. Go there, create a contact me form. Put that in your post. Hey, just spoke at such and such. A picture of you in front of the building, whatever. Want me to speak for your such and such? Contact me here. A clickable link. So people who are feeling a little bit lazy, they don't have to figure out how to contact you. They just click the link. And then once they reach out to you, here's my rates and services. Would you like to schedule a call? And then you move from there. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's possible. Like, imagine, like, you know, my goal by the end of the year is to book for next year at least one $30,000 plus speaking engagement. And if I can get 3 of those a year, I'm good and Gucci, right? Let's see. I just want to make sure there's nobody else. All right, steps to getting paid. Great information. That's right. I'm killing it. Yes, kill it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it might be. I just hope that you got some great information. I'll be doing more of this now that I know that my computer can go live. And have a great day. And as usual, if you have any questions about the Academy, any trouble, anything, you can email customer support at livericheracademy.com. Customer support at livericheracademy.com, and they'll take care of you. All right, bye.